All right, Mikey, that's a wrap. Mm-hmm. Well, sort of a wrap. There's a couple little tweaks we need to make that we're figuring out as we learn the process. There's a couple of things that are different about this. One, Nussbaum, they have a press brake.
Yep.
And that press brake, is that the thing that stamps the
metal?
It
makes bends, yeah.
Right, and so that stamped, the way that they stamp this, the normal, like if we look at my lift next door, there's a little bump in the middle.
Yeah, and this doesn't have it.
In that bump in the middle, I guess that's where it
stops.
Where the adjustable stops are.
Yeah.
And so they made, because that brake is, and I guess that part is like back order for 8 or 9 months.
Right.
I opted, and many customers have opted for the flat
top. Right.
I kind of like the flat one, but different.
Yeah.
But what we figured out is that they provide us with 2 stops.
Right.
We need four height stops.
Yep.
And so we've ordered 2 more of them, so that way there's a little bit of rake here, the way it's set up.
Yeah.
And so when we get those other stops, it'll be perfectly flush. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that the triangle base pieces
transition
under
ramps,
here, that the transition ramps need to account for that stop. And so it needs to come up. They need to be a little bit taller, and then
they're not quite. It's funny because the last one we did for John, they were perfect. Yeah. They were a different ramp. They were wider, a little thicker material, and they were exactly the right height. So we'll get with Nussbaum, have them modify this slightly for us.
Yeah, and this is part of the game. If you're going to do this custom, I mean, we're all consumers, right? Now Mike's a professional, but most of us that are buying these things are consumers, and a lot of times you're spending 10 grand on a lift. You're expecting consumer vetted,
right?
But we're
so
not
it's plug and play essentially.
We're not playing in the consumer game.
No.
What I'm attempting to do with Obsessed Garage is I'm attempting to take professional grade and make it
available for everybody,
and get you 98% of the way there. We're 98% of the way there.
Yep.
And for most normal people, this would be perfect.
Yeah.
We're going to make some tweaks.
Well, the beauty of it is we will make some tweaks, and we'll make it so that when someone buys it from us, we've already got that figured out.
Yeah.
We'll have the line set correct length depending on where they want to put the control. Right. We'll make sure it comes with stops front and rear so they can get it adjusted perfectly. Right. Now, if this were surface mounted, they wouldn't matter. Yeah. The only time it matters is if you're flush mounting it, you want it perfect. So you want just your foot to just glide right over. Right. Which on this side, because it has the stops, I have them adjusted perfectly. It's absolutely flush. This side is down about maybe 1/8. So we put the stops on this side, and both sides will be completely flush.
And then, like the things, like they leave a fudge factor that we took out.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, we narrowed the pit.
Perfect.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So the last one we did, for instance, it was a 28-inch wide pit. We had 1.25 inches or so on either side. Now with bolt head to tile, we're 1/4 inch max.
Right.
And it looks better. I mean, now the thing is, you have to make sure the cuts are perfectly straight. You have to make sure everything's square. Otherwise, it will hit.
Yeah.
So that's why I was so critical about making all of my cuts nice and straight using that angle iron, so everything's perfectly square, because we knew we were going to be cutting it close.
Right. And so then you added a layer of complexity by putting this on a 45 as well.
Sure.
So it's catty corner to the cabinet array. And so then the lines, we're going to build an Obsessed Garage package. And so when Tommy gets back, Mike and Tommy are going to sit down. They're going to build out, and Kyle will be involved in that as well, where they're going to build out a system to where, and then we're going to order, we're going to try to order hydraulic hose, we're going to order hydraulic fittings, and then we're going to make, kits. And you're going to tell us, customer's going to tell us, how far away is the control?
Which side of the lift, number one.
Right.
And then these we know, because this is standard, 33 inches apart, I think is what they are. Mm-hmm. So surface mounting, the hoses would be long enough.
Yep.
Now, if we're recess mounting like we did here, they're short. So we know that each hose needs to be 18, 20 inches longer to go from scissor to scissor. So that'll be pretty standard if you're mounting it in the ground. Now this will matter, like you said. If you mount it 20 feet away or 8 feet away, we can tell exactly what length hose we'll need to send in addition to these. And we may even think about, rather than making them couple together, just make a new complete hose rather than having to join 2 hoses together.
Yeah. That's one more potential failure point. Because the way that this is designed, it's designed to sit on the floor, on the surface. And then it's designed to be like 33 inches or something like that from the edge. And so we're obviously, and that's designed for like a European spec individual work bay,
right,
if you will.
Right.
Well, we're all doing this custom. So if you're doing a custom, you need some custom things.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to be able to provide people with a prefab custom, if you will. And then this one, which I never did next door, this one's mounted. This one's solid mounted. And so now we can work with the lift as needed. So you can see why these triangle things are needed.
Yeah.
In the past, the way they'd done it, they had you pour. That's a really tough thing to frame out and to get exactly right if you're pouring that thing. And so I think it was Byron's idea from Nussbaum said, well, we just need to make some metal plates for this.
Right.
And so like this M3 sitting here, or my E92, most cars that I have don't need a ramp extension.
Right.
And so one thing you couldn't do is pull a lowered car over top of this, raise it up so you could unlock the ramps.
No.
You can't do that. You can do it on a truck.
It could be bound against the tire, essentially.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so you need to have the ramps in droop mode, if you will, so that way when I lower it, or when I raise it, so I can drive over it like normal. So that triangle ramp is what gives us our surface,
right? So
that the extensions don't drop down into the pit, if you will.
Right.
Because the pit is deep enough that you probably could still drive in, but why would you want to do that? I want to drive over a flat surface. Well, the other reason I wanted this recessed is sometimes I'm going to park a car this way.
Right. And you can just drive right over it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if I needed to put I could fit 4 or 5 cars in here. But if this lift was on top of the surface, I mean, the Raptor could drive over it, but my car certainly wouldn't make it up that 4 inches over the thing.
Yeah.
And so now the lift is fully functional in floor, and then you finished it all so it looks pretty. That was the one thing I never really thought about. We learned it next door is we have the sparkle epoxy underneath it.
Yeah.
And then like in John's, it was we did the floor level, which looked really nice, and then he ended up painting it black. Or had his painter paint it. And then for this application, we were planning on doing tile, but I said, I'd like to see what's it like if you didn't do tile.
Right.
So let's do it for my application here. Let's just paint it, and then we'll touch it up.
But tile on the perimeter is really I think this looks fine, gray. It matches what's under the Swiss Tracks anyway.
Yeah.
I think that tiling the cut concrete really finished it off nice.
And so these are the stops we're talking about, the adjustable stops that are in the 2 rear corners, but we need them in the other corner.
Yeah, the holes are here for them.
Right.
And it's just an aluminum block.
And so we're going to share this video and talk with Nussbaum. These are not fixed, like they eventually will be bolted down. And so now the lift will go up to, about 70, what did we say?
74.
74 inches.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a block of some sort. I generally use...
use those rubber ones, don't you?
Oh yeah, I got to go get my book. I need to learn how to say BOECK. Let me go grab those real quick. I'll show you what we're going to use mostly on this lift. But these are even one better because there's a magnet.
Oh, nice. So they stay put. Yeah, that's cool.
So you put these, wherever your jack points are.
Yep. Yeah,
they won't slide around. You're going to crap a brick when you see how much these cost.
What? How much are they?
I don't remember. But
let me guess. Where are they made?
They're like $90 a piece or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, they do have magnets inside.
Well, the cost is getting them here.
Yeah, of course. They're European.
Yeah, they're made in Germany.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So you're paying half again in duties or whatever.
Yeah, duties and freight was more than half of the cost. These things cost nothing to make. But yeah, these things are cool because they have a magnet on them. You could keep them on the side.
Yeah.
But really, it's designed to just keep this in place.
So they don't slide around.
And so then that gives me another inch and 3/4, 2 inches.
So you're basically, what are you? You're 7. What are you? How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
So you're 74 inches. So this would make it, well, I mean, the car's already off the ground anyway. Right. So you're getting up there 80 inches or so by the time you put the car on these and get it up in the air. It's 80 inches to your head. So you'd be plenty of clearance.
So maintenance, what do I need to do to this? Grease the fittings once every 6 years?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Rarely, and if you were doing this in the real shop, you'd be up and down a lot more. Yeah. Maybe check the hydraulic fluid, but even then, there should be no leaks. It's a closed system.
Yep.
Byron said, Probably never.
Never. I would never change it. I mean, the only
it's not
thing
like changing the oil in your car.
No. The only thing that screws up hydraulic fluid is moisture.
Yeah.
So if you left the cap loose or somehow water got in, that would be the one thing. But in this application, I don't think you ever have to change it. And maybe grease it every so often, but...
So remember, if you've watched any part of the series, remember you're thinking your grandfather or your buddy who's a mechanic told you 2-post. Everybody's all about 2-post, 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 2-post. If you're into any kind of car care, detailing, a scissor lift is so much better. And look how much room. I mean, I've got the entire tunnel plus 2 feet. I could do a drive shaft. The only thing that I found is some underbody panels on Porsche, or probably McLaren, Ferrari.
Can't drop it down far enough?
Well, no, like if there's a bolt, the underbody panel, like you need to get a screw to get like some canards off or something like that.
Yeah.
The other thing is if brake lines on an old car, you know, the ones that run down like the driver passenger side.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, and what you would do with that is you just pull the car back, put the front wheels on or rear wheels on, and just lift half the car up. Is what I would do for something like that. But a scissor lift, the beauty of this here is now I can fully access the car. I can open and close the doors. I can detail, you know, at any height I want.
Well, that's
and
the key.
And I could drop an engine, front, rear. I mean, I guess a mid-engine car could be problematic too.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to drop a mid-engine engine out.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're doing that level of stuff, you probably have a scissor lift and a 2-post.
Yep.
You know, and a 4-post alignment rack.
And remember, with a 2-post too, the foundation is far more substantial than this. It has to exceed the heaviest thing it can lift.
Yeah.
Because for ballast, I mean, if you put 2,000 pounds of concrete and lift a 7,000-pound truck, it could easily topple. So you have to put a huge foundation in. Where this.
So if we were doing that in here, we would have to cut down, we had to dig
way
out
deep.
Like a 4x4 and then dig.
Maybe 20 inches deep, 18 inches deep or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that would have had to been tied into the foundation.
I would. You don't have to. It just has to be deep and just needs to be heavy.
So this shop at 4-inch concrete wouldn't have been enough?
No. You wouldn't mount a 2-post on this concrete. No.
You need at least 5,000 PSI, 6-inch deep concrete.
Yeah.
And even then you could feel dicey.
Yeah, I would want it deep and heavy. Yeah, for a 2-post. Yep. But this is beautiful because look at the load spread over such a great area, and I still went 5.5 inches thick on the concrete.
Yeah.
And it's in there good. And, you know,
so that's a wrap. We'll probably we should probably put a car on here and get some B-roll of it going up in the air.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We can really test it out and put the F-250 on here.
Yeah, I think this is way easy to get it on there, huh?
You're just a little off, crooked wise?
Oh, shoot. Or you just put it on crooked.
No. Normally I would say yes, but since we're doing it in a video, maybe not. Yeah. Just go up and bump it up. Let me see where we're at. I think we're good.
This car's getting picked up. I can't fall off the lift.
Pretty good to me.
I want to see also with this.
Oh, you got plenty of room.
There we go.
It's up there. That's up there pretty high.
It's like I got a fingy and a half. Just got to be careful around little things. That's why I'm going to get ding.
Yeah.
Or I could do a little bit taller block.
Yeah, that would be. Well, you could do a lot taller block since the lift goes all the way down there.
Yeah. His plan was to dry ice clean it. Could use some of that. A little Cosmoline on there still.
Yeah. You should sell EAG a dry ice machine.
Yeah, I will. All right, so that's a wrap, Mike.
Yep.
Good job.
Thanks.
I'd like to take credit for this one, but I didn't do anything, did I? I don't think I did anything.
Yeah, you did. You found the lift.
I wasn't even here most of the time.
That's all right.
I carried the tiles in. That was about it.
You did. You brought them after. I did have to remind you a few times via text message.
Yeah. I needed at least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And these lifts, lifts have taken such a huge inflationary hit. These are now, this is I think 10 grand or something like that. This was not too long ago was 8.
Yeah,
and even at 8 was a stinger. But but all the all the bend packs and all the other lifts, even the cheap Chinese stuff that
it's all going up.
It's all gone up substantially. So these are German engineered, sometimes German made, sometimes U.S. made, but they have a German U.S. facility in North Carolina. Is where they all come from there. But some of them are made in Germany. They bring over. It just depends on what their production looks like. But they should have the same standards here in the U.S. Know that if you're going to do this project, you'll have this video as a reference. But know that you have to have some expertise there. Have somebody that can do it for you, or when you're pouring the foundation on your new house. This is what I think you want. This is what I've been waiting to do. But it was. What do you think this would cost if you paid someone to do what you did?
Gosh, it would depend on region. Obviously, if you're in California, you're gonna, contractors charge more. I would guess 15,000.
Labor?
No, everything.
So $5,000 in labor.
No. I'm saying forget the lift. Hire a guy. You own the lift. Say turnkey. Do it. I'd say about 15 grand round number.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You're talking, we tiled it, there's a lot of little things we did, subtle things that are time consuming.
So if you're doing your house, you're building your house, zero.
Right, because you would have it poured, fit, already ready to go.
Right.
It would just drop in, then you have a little labor. But
if you want to cut, you're going to pay.
Yeah, you got to cut, you got to excavate, get the concrete out, excavate.
So what's going to happen is the guy's going to bid it at $6,200, and then he's going to come back to you and say, well, man, this job... So you want to bank on it being, 10, 15 grand.
Yeah, and you need somebody that's going to have some mechanical ability, as well as, you need a concrete guy. You might need a tile guy if you're going to do the tile. Someone that understands mechanics that can get it installed.
But if you had somebody do a concrete, the lift install is pretty easy, especially if we're sending the right.
Well, and we showed them how to do that, how to set it in there.
Right, like I've done these myself.
Yeah.
And so if you had the pour done, the concrete part done, and you had the conduit in, or certainly if you were just surface mounting it, you could watch my videos, and if you know how to use if you know how to think use a hammer drill.
Yep.
You can install one of these lifts.
Right.
This one, there's no leveling. It's all hyperflow. So it has a feedback line.
It balances the
lift. So it cannot go
crooked.
Right. And then there's no air required on this either. Whereas a lot of scissor lifts, you need to blow the locks. There are no locks on this because it has redundant cylinders.
Yeah.
So hit us up. Kyle can help you if you're designing a garage, and we can get you. We're going to draw our own schematics because the Nussbaum ones we didn't like, so we did it on our own.
And we can, like I said, we tightened up the foundation a little bit.
We're going to also provide and get hydraulic lines so that we can do the recess stuff for you. So if you're thinking about building a house, hit us up, design@obsessgarage.com. You can, Mike's going to be here too, and we'll be here to help support. If you have questions as you're doing it, we'll always have these videos to reference on how to get it done. But I truly believe, at least from what I found, this is the best scissor lift on the planet.
It's well made, that's for sure.
And so even best on the planet that's custom professional grade requires some modification.
Some tweaking.
To get it to you. And remember, this thing weighs whatever it weighs, 2,500, 3,000 pounds. It's coming to you in a crate.
Yeah.
I've got a few little nicks and scrapes on this. That's part of... Part of commercial, part of, this isn't a, I'm not going to call Nussbaum and complain that there's a little nick in here, that this 3,000 pound thing, that the shipping company, freight company tweaked it. So be prepared for that as well. I'm trying to set your expectations here. But this is freaking amazing. This is a darn dream come true. Time to get another garage. We haven't gotten all the lights in yet. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit us up if you have questions, and if you want to buy one of these, you probably want to lock it down now. If you're watching this in 2021 or 2022, they're probably 6 months out.
And if you're building a garage, get someone to do this before they pour the floor.
Yeah.
Because this will save you a ton of money if it's already done.
And if you give them the schematic, and make sure you follow up with them, make sure it's, 4-inch conduit?
3-inch. 3-inch sleeving, 3-inch there, and 3-inch there, yes. Do not follow the 2-inch-and-a-halfers. It won't work.
Yeah. We're going to get you a better
We'll modify that so that way everybody knows.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.